You do not have to be posting content for long before people will find you. Nor do you have to be getting very many views. Unfortunately, the people you want to find you, they usually take a little bit longer to come around. So I have a whole video planned as part of my advice for YouTubing series on sponsorships. How we get them, what the terminology is, how they're negotiated, contracts, all of that info. It's in script form right now. I need to go over it some more, but that'll be coming out eventually. In the meantime though, there's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, both because it's just kind of funny to me, and it might be funny to you as well, but also it might be helpful to some people if you are a beginning YouTuber or if you want to be a YouTuber. This might be helpful information, and if you're a viewer, yeah, you might just find it funny, and it might give you some background information on what we're dealing with in our inboxes. I just want to share a bunch of emails with you guys. I don't delete the stupid emails that I get. I don't delete much of anything, I just let it sit there as though data storage is unlimited. It's not. But some of these emails that we get are truly just what might feel to somebody new in the area, like it did feel this way to me at the beginning, like sponsorship offers, only they really kinda aren't. But nowadays we get a bunch of other stuff too, and it's wild. A big category is people offering you free stuff in exchange for content, which, y'all, that's not a sponsorship offer. It's not. And this is something I will get into so much more in the long and detailed video about this. But I remember one of the earliest ones back before I was even getting very many views on my videos. I would get emails like this, and the most hilarious one, which I'm just going to tell you about because there's no way I'm scrolling 5 years back in my email inbox. It was a beading company. They made and sold beads, and they wanted me to make an entire long-form video dedicated to their product. So what we call a dedicated video, as opposed to a 1-minute integration. A lot more work goes into a dedicated video, obviously. It's 20 plus minutes, usually 30 plus minutes in my case. They wanted a full-on dedicated video for their beads, which I already don't use beads, so that's something that's adjacent, that's something that I would maybe be okay with doing because it is still a crafting thing, but I would have had to figure out what to do with them rather than I don't know, it's fabric or it's embroidery floss and these are already projects I have, you know? Here's what they were offering in exchange for what potentially would have been at minimum 100 hours of work, possibly more depending on what kind of project I had to do. They said, so graciously, you may select $20 worth of beads from our website, and it needs to include shipping in that $20. Shipping from China needs to fall inside of that $20 as well. That's it. You can make us a whole video in exchange for less than $20 worth of beads, right? In case it's not obvious to anyone just starting out, don't do that. Don't say yes to stuff like that. God, please don't say yes to stuff like that. Your time and your effort and your work are worth so much more than whatever you can buy in plastic beads for $20, including shipping. Anyway, let's see what I've got in my inbox. Oh yeah, so this is the reason that I was like, hey, you should finally make that video that you were thinking about, because I got a great one. So these emails kind of throw you off at first. You get a lot of emails now that come from a person's name. It doesn't look like a company name. It doesn't look like some sort of weird scam thing. It's like, this is a name. And you know what? Sometimes some of my viewers email me and they'll be like, hey, I saw this thing and it made me think of you, or I had thoughts on a certain thing and it made me think of you, which is fine. I mean, for me, I prefer email to be like a professional business related stuff, and I'd prefer if you just messaged me about things like that, but it's fine. And that's what these emails from people kind of play on. They make you think that, because if I just look at the preview, this is from a name. I'm not going to show you the name. The subject title line of the email is, "Charlie, saw this and thought of you." Wow. So, parasocial and intimate, like you know me and we're friends. You called me by my first name, you saw something and it made you think of me. So this is how they get you to at least open the email, because when I see that, I go like, this might be from a viewer. So of course I'm gonna read it. "Hello, Charlie. Saw your video on foraging in your backyard for a fairy house. Loving the suburban take on channeling your inner woodland sprite. Haha! People are using AI to scrape data, of course they are, so you will frequently get emails where the beginning of the email starts out by very, very specifically referencing one of your videos. We used to get more general stuff. It was clear that they were kind of scraping the channel as a whole, and so the emails would often start with like, "I see how you do lots of crafting projects, blah, 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 blah." Then somewhere along the line, people decided to get more specific. So now it is frequently a thing that the beginning of the email will reference one specific video you've put out. Usually not even your biggest ones. They know not to reference your most viewed videos because then, like, you just seem like you saw my one bigger viewed video. They will almost always reference one of your lesser viewed videos and give some very specific insights into it. Although, as I read that sentence when I first opened this email, already by the end of it, I was going, oh, AI. It takes on a weird tone where you're like, do people talk like this? This doesn't seem like how most people talk. Now, granted, people who have English as their second language, or people who just aren't used to writing an email, like, there could be a variety of reasons for, you know, the language to just seem a little bit off. So I don't ever just stop reading if I suspect AI after the first sentence. I do keep reading, but it doesn't take you long to go from inner woodland sprite, ha ha, to I'm selling you something. Anyway, I'm blank, and I help creators turn their top performing content into an automated sales system that adds $50K to $100K a month in new revenue in under 90 days. All DFY. Wow, we went right from woodland sprite into automated sales system. What a turn! This is a frequent style of email we get now. This isn't a sponsorship offer. This isn't a brand wanting a collaboration. This is someone, their email says that they're from an advertising company, wanting to get me an automated sales system where I can make 50 to 100K a year. Y'all, people come in with these massive numbers, not a year, a month. 50 to 100K a month in new revenue from selling stuff. They come in with these absolutely massive numbers like this. And for me, I'm just like, who's falling for that? I should not be able to make 50 to 100K a month in the next 90 days. That shouldn't be possible. If that were possible, I would think I am doing something scammy. I am working with somebody scammy. What product could I possibly come up with and start selling in the next 90 days to bring me that much revenue? If you've never seen about like physical product development and testing and stuff, I highly recommend you watch Simone Yetch's videos. She goes into a lot of detail now that she is a product development company about how many prototypes there are and how long the process is. It's years to develop a good, high-quality product. And if they're talking about digital products, even then, I'm like, what? A digital product, whether it's a pattern or a class? Like, I stopped making digital embroidery patterns because it took so much time to make them. And I was like, this is not bringing me joy and I don't want to do this. So yeah, these emails crack me up because I'm like, who's falling for this? I don't know. I guess there are people out there who see big numbers and go like, yes, I totally believe that that's possible in a legal and non-scammy and ethical way. No. Also, do you notice how incredibly lacking in details that information was? He goes on to say who he's worked with and then can we get on a call? And I'm like, you've given me almost no information about what you actually do or what you're actually offering me. You basically went, here's a parasocial connection, here's a big number, and here's some famous people that you might recognize their names. Call me. Yeah, don't fall for these. Don't fall for tactics like this. Let's see what else I got. Oh, this is one that's kind of a new tactic, I guess, in the last, I don't know, maybe year or two. It used to be that if you got a kind of scammy email like the last one that I read, you would get that one email. You might get kind of the same exact email again in a few months from like the same person, but lately there's this new thing where they send out that first email, and then when you don't respond, they send a reply to that email, and then a reply to that email. Like they keep stacking on their own emails, and it becomes more and more like parasocial and guilt trippy. So here's a stack that I've got from someone. Let's go back to the original one. The original says, "We want you, yes, get thee to the Stitchery, on the clicks, talent, money-making machine." So this is an offer of representation, which is another style of email we get all the time. I have an entire giant rant about how representation of content creators is being handled these days, and how it is not very clear and ethical and, good. I'll avoid going into that giant rant right now, but I personally ignore all offers of representation right now. I have a very specific list of, like, agencies that I would consider legitimate enough to represent me at some point, and I don't think I would get offers from those agencies for a very long time, if ever. So this one starts, "Let me get straight to it. Your content slapped us across the face in the best way, and we need you on our roster." So again, we're gonna boost you up. All of these start with flattery. I'm not even gonna call it praise. That's not what it is. Flattery. They go straight in, like every time, with "you're the best," which I don't know if this is like my demand avoidance, kind of a related thing to that, but when someone comes straight in with like over-the-top praise, I'm automatically like, oh, red flags are up. Clicks Talent isn't just an agency, we're a creator-powered revenue engine. A revenue engine. Everything is about income, making more income, revenue, yay! We want to represent you. That means paid campaigns, real ones, not "we'll pay you in exposure" nonsense. I think this might be more of a thing with short form content creators where they still get a lot of these whole "we'll pay you in exposure" stuff. Honestly, as a long form creator, nobody talks that way. As I was saying before, we do get these offers constantly of, can we just give you a free product and you'll make content for us? But the language is never like, you'll get exposure. It's always like, you'll get this free product. And I'm like, that's not worth it. So I think it's much more on the short form social media side of content creation that people are like, using our product in your content will give you exposure somehow. And every time people use this language when they're reaching out to long-form content creators, or at least to me, I'm like, yeah, nobody's offering us that. Like, me using somebody's product in a video is not going to get that video more views unless they as a company pay to give that video more views, which does happen. Anyway, so this was the original email. Hey, we want to represent you. It was about 2 weeks later that he sent a second email. Hey again, just popping in because we're still hyped about the idea of working with you. I also love how you can just like tell who runs a company based on the language they use. It's fun. I meant it when I said we'd think you'd crush it with our brand partners. If you've got questions, I've got answers. Or memes. Or both. This does not connect with me. I'm sure this kind of language connects with someone, but when I read stuff like this, I'm like, are you 14 or are you running a professional company? If I'm going to hire you to be my representation, I want to know that you're professional, not that you have memes. I recognize the name on this one, and I'm pretty sure I have like 3 different chains from this same company, but the next reply on this chain was not sent until like 4 months later. Woohoo, he gave some time. But now we get on to the sort of guilt-tripping language. Get thee to the Stitchery, come on now. We're out here trying to turn your talent into serious $, $, and you're leaving us on red wild. You in? You out? Let us know so we can stop crying into our influencer spreadsheets. Am I the only one who reads this and goes, What? What? I think you're barking up the wrong tree. That's what's funny to me is I'm like, whatever programs you're using, whatever AI is scraping whatever data to make the lists that you're sending out your emails to, it needs to get more specific. Either like, I should not end up on that list because this is not gonna work on me, or you should have separate lists of like, hey, maybe for these people we can use like hype and you in, you out, and leaving us on red, wild. I'm sorry, I just find this so funny. Also, what does that mean? You're leaving us on red? Like, was that a typo? Should it have been you're leaving us unread? Or does that actually mean something? I'm clearly not up to date on the lingo. But yeah, it's just funny to me that I'm like, why are you trying this with me? Like, how much data did you manage to get on me? Because if you had like gotten a decent amount, you'd see that I'm like a middle-aged woman running a creativity and crafting channel. And then you'd probably be able to suss out pretty quickly that like, this is not the language that's gonna work for me. Even if I was looking for representation and didn't have a giant beef with that. So that was already two really good examples of what we get. We get offers of representation, we get these offers of, we'll make you money somehow. Always very vague. And then we get the offers of, do our stuff for free. I mean, this last one, he at least ended with, I won't contact you again unless you ask me to. The emoji is what sells it. Thank you. Actually, here's a really good comparison. Here's an email that I've gotten recently from a legitimate agency with a legitimate brand who has a legitimate offer. These are what the emails are like. And granted, this is an agency I've worked with before, so they're not having to like introduce themselves to me as an agency, but this is generally how these emails go. Hi, Charlie. Agent here from agency. I'm reaching out on behalf of brand. They love your channel and are interested in a collaboration on YouTube. We would absolutely love to offer you dollar amount for a 60-second integration. Are you interested in moving forward? A little more about the brand. Look forward to hearing from you. Best. You'll notice that there was no excessive flattery there. She said, the brand loves your channel, and that's it. Often it doesn't even say that. A lot of times it's just like, this brand could potentially work with you. We're not even gonna say they love your channel. You don't always get a straight up money offer, like a specific number offered this early on. A lot of times it will just be, this brand is interested in working with you, can you send us your rates? And then I'll send them the number. I really appreciated that this person came in with a number, or this brand came in with a specific number. It made it all the faster. But like, this is what typical emails from actual agencies with actual brands are like. They're very to the point. Here's what we've got. Let's go. And professional. No mention of memes. I have noticed in the last few years that it's far more common now for the emails that are, or that used to be like, yo, do this for free product. A lot more of them now will emphasize like paid collaboration, send us your rates, stuff like that. At this point, I just recognize a lot of names or styles of email from early on when those people were offering you $20 of beads for stuff. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, just the fact that you're saying that it's a paid collaboration, I still don't really believe you. It might be paid, but probably very low. And usually what stands out to me with these emails is that they will come at you with, here's this product we want you to advertise, and it is some very, very specific, small, random product. I have literally gotten ones for power strips. Like just a power strip. Can you please advertise this power strip in your video? I've gotten ones for like those little tent covers that you put on food outside, and also for the little fans that blow away flies. A lot in that category. But like, for example, here's one that is detachable magnifying glass lamp with clamp. So to me, and this might not be true of anyone, but to me, anything that comes at me with like, hey, we have this one very, very specific simple product, I'm immediately like, that's not, I don't want to say that's not real. They probably will send you that product in exchange for you making content. Will they pay you your going rate for making that content? Probably not. And then like this one here. Promote the Reglow LED light therapy mask. I actually get that one all the time, like this exact same mask. They really want me to promote this mask. And she does say, let me know your collaboration rate. But like, I'm not gonna waste time replying to emails like this. First of all, because I don't want your Reglow LED light therapy mask, nor do I want to promote it, but also because I know that it's probably a waste of time. And when you are running everything yourself, you really do have to cut out things that are wastes of time. Oh, here's a new style that I've been getting lately. The extremely brief and extremely vague. I did reply to one of these just for like the hoot of it. So this one says, a quick hello from Natron. I'll leave that in. Go look it up. What's Natron? I have no idea. Brief outreach is the intro, which is kind of how I want to start all my emails from now on. Brief outreach. I'm James from Natron. We're connecting with creators to explore partnership possibilities. Let me know if you're open to discussing this. That's it. That's the whole email. Now, in all fairness, brief, to the point, doesn't have any over-the-top flattery in there. This is still a no for me. This is still like, nope, scam. I have never had a legitimate agency that I've actually worked with and been paid and like everything was fine start their conversation with me by just going like, hey, are you interested in collaborations? Yes, of course I'm interested in collaborations. You need to tell me what you have to offer. So I don't know if I'll be able to find the one that I replied to in here, but I got one of these that was like, hey, we have brands that want to do collaborations. Can you send your rates? And I was like, no. I replied and said, not until you tell me what brands. Like, I don't know if I want to work with your brands. There have been numerous times that even legit agencies have reached out and said, we have this brand that would love to work with you or is willing to work with you or whatever. Can you send us your rates? And the first thing I do is look up that brand and decide if I want to work with that brand. I'm not going to send people my rates and my demographics and my availability and everything. I'm not going to waste that time if it turns out this isn't a brand that I want to work with. I don't know that everyone out there in the content creation world has brands that they don't want to work with. I'm sure there are people out there that just work with anyone, and that's fine. We're not judging them. You do you. Most of us, especially in this niche, have some sort of standard of who we want to work with, whether it's because, you know, we don't find that company ethical, or they just don't align with our audience, or whatever it is. So yeah, when you get this thing that's like, yo, we have brands, I'm like, I'm not gonna waste your time by giving you my rates and availability when you have not told me what brands yet. I once had an agency reach out and they were like, we have this long list of brands. And they gave me the list and every single brand on the list. I was like, no. Specifically because they were all like health and wellness related, and I am extremely picky about doing any wellness, health related integrations. I try not to do any at this point, quite frankly. So, you know, it just seemed like that was the type of brand that this agency mainly represented. And it was like, no, like, great, you just sent me 8 brands. You'd think one of them would work, but no, none of them do. And so we didn't have to waste each other's time any further. But yeah, these are so vague that they make me think there's something else going on here. It's a sketchy, scammy sort of thing. And the one that I replied to and was like, yo, you'd have to tell me what brands before I would send you more information. Haven't heard back from them. How unsurprising. Also, if you ever get offers that then say, hey, we've already got a contract, and in order to open the contract, you have to download a program onto your computer? No. Oh, here's another style of email that we get. We'll do your thumbnails for you. These are not scams. I'm sure these are legitimate people who are legitimately making thumbnails for people. However, I have gotten several of these now, and every single time, every single one of them, they send you like an example of the thumbnails they've done, and I'm like, oh yeah, the thumbnails. The thumbnails that originally started with Mr. Beast, and now, you know, 50% of YouTube does this style of thumbnails. It's fine. That's what they do. I don't want that style of thumbnail. If you don't know what I mean, then You're lucky. You're lucky you haven't seen the Mr. Beastification of thumbnails show up on your homepage. But this is a very common thing we get. Thumbnails YouTube design. Hello, the Stitchery. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for the awesome content you make. Again, I don't know why people feel the need to like throw in this thing that's like, I watch your content. I'm like, no, you don't, and that's fine. You don't have to watch my content to work with me, and you don't need to flatter me to get me to work with you. He goes on, so I have been watching your YouTube videos for a while now. No, you haven't, and that's fine. And I noticed that the thumbnails you are using are not eye-catching enough, and you might not have the time to make better ones. The thumbnail emails always crack me up because they usually start with like some form of flattery that's like, you make amazing content, but then they will switch to insulting your thumbnails so fast, and some of them are so harsh. It'll literally turn around and be like, but your thumbnails are straight up trash. And I'm like, okay. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, these emails are not like necessarily scams or something. If I wanted somebody to make my thumbnails for me and I wanted them to look Mr. Beast style, great, okay. It's just like, I have yet to have a single person reach out and have any form of variety in their portfolio. I'm like, at this point, I don't have any reason to believe that you can make a thumbnail that does not follow the Mr. Beast model. Oh, there's a good old Shein. Y'all, we do hear a lot from Shein and Temu, although usually I get Instagram messages about Temu more than I get emails. These are not like scams. This is probably a very legitimate agency. It's just like, stop emailing me about Shein and Temu. This is where it feels like they've done no research whatsoever. It's like whatever data programs they're using are giving them the broadest thing. Like, this person, this channel related to clothing. You should reach out to them. And it's like it can't give them any further information to be like, actually, this person related to clothing is the absolute worst person for you to reach out to. They are the last person who would ever promote your fast fashion company. I don't think it gets that specific. And also, it's not that much work for them to go like hit one button and send out a mass email to 100,000 different channels. So I don't think they care that they're, wasting my time, wasting their time, wasting email space. They don't care. They're sending out giant mass emails, which is why the ones with like specific flattery about a very specific video of yours are all the funnier to me. This is another one I get all the time, at least this exact same brand. And this is another one that I'm like, I'm not gonna reply. It's not necessarily a scam or something. I just assume that either they're not paying or they're not gonna pay enough. And also like, I don't know, do I want to promote like random furniture from something like, not really. But I like that this one gives a giant long list of, here's stuff you could choose from. You could promote any of these. Yeah, okay, so this one says it specifically at the bottom. We'd love to gift you a product and have you share your experience in your own content style. If you're interested, just let us know which item you'd like and we'll arrange the shipping. These are the kind of thing that like, there's not even gonna be a contract signed. They're gonna send you a product if you say yes to this. And then quite frankly, you could never ever make content. And they can't do anything about that. Usually these are pretty cheap products though, and so I think that's their method, is like just send out free product as much as possible and hope that at least like 50% of it people make some form of content to promote. But I'm sure there are plenty of people who just take the free product and never do anything. And I'm like, I don't need a bunch of random stuff in my house. No thanks. But also, contracts, y'all. Don't do sponsorships without a contract. Again, I think this is heavily a short form problem and not as heavily a long form problem, although I have had brands reached out to me. In one case, literally, we got to the point where I was like, no, you can't ship me product until you make a contract and send it to me. And they were like, ugh, fine. Not actually, but that was very much the vibe. And then they sent this contract and it was like a 1-page doc. And I was like, this is not a real contract. This looks like you typed something up randomly because you didn't know what a contract is. So I literally had to reply and be like, here, like, here's all the things that should be in a contract. And then they ghosted me. It's like, that's fine. We did not need to work together. Some creators are at the point where they have their own contract that they send, and like that does make it easier. You know what's in your contract. You're the one kind of like in control then. I'm not at that point. I'm willing to take the contracts that people send me as long as, I check through them first and make adjustments and everything. But yeah, it is very, very, very rare that I will do something promotional without a contract. And quite frankly, it shouldn't even be rare, it should be non-existent. Protect yourself. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'll find one in here, but I also specifically get emails every once in a while from like manufacturing companies, usually like textile clothing stuff, where they're like, hello, like they're pitching themselves to me as like, we will manufacture clothing for you. And I'm like, that would be a terrible way to decide to start a business. I don't know, like if I wanted to go into a business of selling clothing, of being a clothing company and having my clothing actually manufactured and selling it and stuff, like that would be a choice I made first, and then I would go out and research who I wanted to be my manufacturer. I can't imagine somebody like having a manufacturing company reach out to them and being like, huh, that's a great idea. I think I'll do that. That should not be the way you start a business. There's so much more involved. Oh my god, here it is. Or here's one of them. I've gotten stuff like this so much. It's a power strip. We're launching a special Easter DIY campaign for our non-tipping power strip tower, and we'd love to collaborate with you for promotion. Oh, this is very specific about what they want. We'd like to invite you to create an Easter-themed DIY painting on the product and film the creative process. In the second half of the video, you can naturally showcase it in daily use while highlighting key features. They've really come up with an entire plan. You as the content creator, no, you don't get to decide. We offer a free sample matched to your country plus a commission and fixed fee. Maybe they would. This to me is not even worth replying to. Like, honestly, even if I was like, here's my rate for a dedicated video, which I guarantee they're not willing to pay, I wouldn't take something like this. Can you imagine if I put out a video on the Stitchery and it was me painting a power strip with an Easter-themed painting? Why would you paint a power strip? That's just gonna scrape right back off. That sounds like a terrible idea. Okay, they did offer an image. That is cute, I guess. Yeah, no, I think if I put this video out, people would be like, yo, did you get kidnapped? Why are you doing this? There would be confusion. And it would be justified. Oh, so here's another one that's very much playing on the parasocial. They titled their email, Your Subscriber, Heart. I can make a 10 times better thumbnail for your video. I've made 22 variations of the same pattern. They love to throw in a specific one. If you liked it, we can discuss further. Say yes if you want me to send it to you. Thanks, good old thumbnail guy. Here's the thing. This is not one of my subscribers. Not at all. People can lie to you. They're allowed to do that. This is not somebody who watches my videos and saw this one go up and was just like, I really think I could make a better thumbnail for that. I better email her. They just title it Your Subscriber in the hopes that you will open and read the email, which I do because you never know if it actually is one of my subscribers. I don't know what the plan really is beyond that, because getting me to read your email is not getting me to hire you. That is not the same thing. And we also have with this one of those whole reply to your own thing. Hey, did you read my previous email? Well, yes, I did. But actually, I'm allowed to not reply. Just like you're allowed to lie to me. Oh, this one's big. I'm person from brand on Amazon. We make portable LED work lights. I came across your channel in the YouTube. Love that. And thought our lights might be a good fit for your audience. Are you interested in trying the product and earning some extra income? Now this one was titled plus Amazon commissions. So they're telling you up there in the title, they're not gonna pay you, they're gonna give you like an affiliate link for Amazon. I am at the point, and again, this is a choice I've made. I don't put this choice onto anyone else, but like, if they send me an Amazon link, if they start with our products are on Amazon, whatever it is, I pretty much immediately am like, no. I don't want a link in my description to go to Amazon. And this has happened once, and it's because the brand did not tell me in advance. The link that they sent me went to a normal website, and I didn't find out until they sent me the final link for the description after I had made the whole content that the link that they were sending me was an Amazon link. I'm at the point where I do not want to promote anything that requires people to buy it off of Amazon. And that's just a personal choice. And not everybody has to make that choice, but it makes it an easy, like, whoosh, past that email, because I'm like, no. On top of many other reasons, but no. Representing my client, Temu! Woo! Also, y'all, I don't know if I'll be able to find an email that's like this, but speaking of, like, getting on the wrong email lists, I do fairly frequently get emails that are for TikTok promotion. I have never even downloaded the TikTok app. I have never been on TikTok as a viewer, as a creator, as anything. I do not have a TikTok. So I don't know how I get on those email lists. But yeah, I'll get emails that are like, and this is the thing, they'll start with the praise. It'll be like, we love your TikTok content. And I'm like, okay, I think you hallucinated all of it. But sure. So yeah, this is how you very, very quickly learn when you start getting all of these emails that people are just lying to you. You know, like liars. And then you stop believing anything that anyone says. Okay, so here's a really good example of we've given you no actual information. Paid collaboration. Okay, fair enough. Hi there, hope you're doing well. My name is blank, and I'm reaching out on behalf of an innovative tech brand expanding into the DIY creator space. We've been following your content and really love how you bring projects to life. Your style feels like a great fit for what we're planning. Okay, but like, why can't you tell me the name of the brand? So again, they're like, can you share your rates? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. Tell me the name of the brand. Stop wasting my time. Like, just because it's a brand that's expanding into the DIY creator space doesn't mean it's a brand I'm gonna be willing to work with. So no. Oh, here's a fun one. Hello from Monster Energy. Wow, that sounds so incredibly legitimate, right? Let's ignore how weird the email address is. Hi, Charlie.Neby. That's my name, after all. On 26-02-21, around 2350, I came across your channel and took time to explore your latest uploads. Wow, does it ever sound like a robot sent that bit of information? There's clear traction in what you're creating. The structure feels deliberate, and it holds attention without forcing it. That kind of confident energy stands out. In case anyone is not familiar yet with the way AI sounds, this is the way it sounds. Like a very strange robot. I'm with a team connected to Monster Energy. No, it isn't. We keep an eye on creators who are developing with direction. Your channel felt right in that space. There's nothing preset. We usually start with a quick chat around February, Saturday, maybe at 23 for about 50. What the crap? Maybe at 23 for about 50, which is, are those just numbers it likes? Because it found my channel at 2350. And see if there's a natural fit. If it makes sense, we build from there. Best regards, Monster Energy team. Yeah, so in case it wasn't clear, this is a giant-ass scam. This is the full-on scam. Do not reply to these emails. Not even like, oh, we're a company that's just trying to slightly take advantage of you scam. That is hilarious, though. I mean, this could keep going forever. Like, we've only gone back about a month through my emails, and I've been skipping a bunch of them. I could keep scrolling literally for the last 5 years and keep finding hilariously horrible emails. Stuff like monetize re-uploads of your content across platforms. No. Your next 10 million views aren't in English. No. Not that there's anything wrong with doing dubbing or translating of your content across into other languages, but this has started to feel like all of the scammy stuff. There was a whole period of time where I just got endless emails about doing these dubs, and I guarantee they are all AI dubs, which I don't want to do. YouTube offers that features. I don't want to do it. It seems like a terrible plan. There is so much nuance to translation and dubbing. There is so much specificity and knowledge and, there's so much required. These AI programs do not understand specific terms. Like, if they can't get captions to write the word pinafore because it doesn't seem to recognize, or petticoat, automatic captions still don't seem to recognize that the word pinafore and petticoat are real words in the English language. So I do not at all trust their AI dubbing to be able to get all of the specific terms of different craft styles, nor do I trust it to understand sarcasm, irony, jokes that are specific to your language. And if you just translate all of that willy-nilly, I really wish there was a person actually named willy-nilly. It doesn't seem like that would go well. Oh, this is stuff you get a lot. There's a lot of weird AI offers that you're getting now. Not like the AI wrote the email, but like there are 4 weird AI companies of some kind. We've been reaching out because we really believe you'd be an amazing fit for this project and we'd love to bring your creativity into our fantasy AI world. No. Anyway, I gotta call it there or I'll keep doing this forever. That's just a small example of the many, many stupid and pointless emails that we get as content creators. And you don't even have to be a certain size to get them. I started getting emails like this basically as soon as I was consistently posting both on Instagram and on YouTube. Either one, you're gonna get stuff like this. And at some point, you do start getting the legitimate offers from actual legitimate agencies representing actual legitimate brands who are going to pay you to do an integration. But you never stop getting all of this crap in between. So yeah, like one of the jobs of being a content creator, on top of all the other stuff we're doing, is constantly going through these emails because there's not hugely an immediate visual difference between a stupid email that's worthless and an email that is offering an actual integration. There's not enough of a difference that I can like glance through the titles or the subjects or whatever and be like, no, 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 yes, 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 yes. I have to open every single one and I have to read enough to be like, oh, nope, that was written by a robot. Okay, this is a real one. And it does help over time because at this point, I am mainly getting legitimate offers from agencies I've already worked with. And so often they come on email chains from agents that I already did a campaign with, we already have a connection, and that does make it easier. But that's after doing this for 5 years. So at the beginning, when you're just having to sorry if I hit my mic, when you're just having to build up those relationships to start with, it's really hard to tell which ones are legitimate and which ones are scammy. And that is a big thing we have to go through. And at the beginning, I replied to a lot of emails in good faith with actual here's my demographics and here's my numbers, which is fine. You're not giving anybody enough information for them to scam you or anything. But, it's just time that you spend doing that. And then you'll get ghosted because they're like, oh, we don't actually pay rates, or the email you get back will make it very clear that this was a scam, all of that stuff. So it's just a lot of time that goes into it, and it's so much fun. But I hope you had a good laugh over the emails we get. And if you are a beginning YouTuber or you're just getting into content creation of any kind, I don't know, I guess my advice before I get into the full, long, let's actually talk about this video at some point is, the emails lie. Your red flags should kind of just be up at all times.